We talked the other day about a woman who has been wanting to get pregnant and couldn't. And now she's sitting before us 4 months pregnant and so satisfied. Even though she still doesn't have a baby in her arms, she's satisfied. And so the analogy that your vortex is pregnant with all that you want was really an exhilarating concept to contemplate. And this one is equal to that. In other words, in the same way that the movie is not yet in the theaters, but it exists just the same.
And which leads me to my next thing, which is I am pregnant. And it was unexpected in my conscious mind. Obviously, it was very much in my vortex because I was overjoyed when I heard the news. And then all the resistance that I've had to being a parent up to this point started to show itself as I started.
All right, now hear this.
Forward.
This is really a wonderful conversation we're about to have here. So all of that resistance, you made it sound like a big wad, is irrelevant.
Okay.
Isn't it? In other words, what you're saying is, I was resistant to the idea of being pregnant, but now I'm pregnant, so that sort of is irrelevant, isn't it? Or isn't it even telling that I must not have had as much resistance as I had desire because I am pregnant?
Right.
Unless you want to announce to the universe, you screwed up, universe. I didn't want it, but I've got it. That's never the case, is it?
No, it's not.
So now where are you?
So the reason why I said resistance at all was because there was pain in my hip in the last week. And I recognized when I looked at it that it was when I had thoughts around the past or tried to think about parenting going into the future and only having reference and ideas of what I had experienced, a very contrasting experience that, I grew up with. So I would get into the vortex this entire week, dolphins and sloth and being extremely happy, and then try to reintroduce the concept of being a parent. And then I would start to get access to images that were just incredible. Like obviously this is very important to me, is what I'm learning.
Yes.
And I had no realization how important it was to me until I actually felt some pain. And then I recognized, having a family, having this incredible family is so very incredible and will be just magical in comparison to what I've lived. And that's the direction I need to go in if I'm actually to stop feeling pain, even. Or I don't know if that's quite the right way of putting it. But so the practice here is
Have you ever had
rampage.
a pain? Have you ever had a pain before you became pregnant?
Sure. Not the specific one, and not like this for a long time. I mean, I haven't been in this kind of pain.
Well, what you're wanting to do is just release as many resistant thoughts as you can.
Okay.
I want to go back to something that you said just a little bit ago and amplify it, because it will be a really good picking up place for you, something that will be easy for you to get to. First we want to say you're overthinking all of it.
Okay.
And that's not uncommon, because you just can't please Abraham. We want you to be a deliberate creator, but we don't want you to overthink things, you see. And so what we really want you to do is to feel your way into it. So the powerful statement that we want to say to you is the exhilaration. You said this to us already, and we want to touch back on it because we felt your desire and vibration really spike when you offered these words. When you found out that you were pregnant, you felt so exhilarated, and that is a fraction of what you will feel when you meet this baby. In other words, and upon that meeting, every reservation that you ever had will go right out the window. In other words, and so the point that we're making here is that when you have sure, you had some resistance. Everyone does. Things that are new, especially things that potentially could change your life as much as adding another person into your close-up experience like that. So when you really want something, when there's something that you really want, and attention to the opposite of it is unpleasant, that's just a really logical thing. When you acknowledge, when you understand that even with resistance that you could identify, still what you really wanted won out. It's such an interesting thing. Sometimes people will get in the hot seat, and even though they have strong resistance, which makes it on one level sort of illogical that they're here, their desire was so strong we could not ignore them. And they were spiking all over the place. Spike, mute, spike, mute, spike, mute, but spike, mute, spike, mute. And so even though you're right, you did have some resistance about it, but your desire was so strong, it won out, way won out, you see. And so in the same way, any reservations you have about will you be able to do it, will you be able to keep up with it, will it be all that you want it to be, once you have that baby, it will win out over any of that.
Thank you.
Yes.